अवतार वरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोः श्रुत्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्री यतिराजाय विवेकानंद सूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। Revered Swami Gahananandaji Maharaj, the president of this memorial meeting, other revered brother monks, nuns from the Sharada, and assembled devotees. Yes, it's true, I was associated with Most Revered Maharaj for more than 3 decades. You know, his life was such a whole and integral life. It's really difficult to set apart a few stray incidents here and there and point out he was like this. He was a total personality, so to say, from sunrise to sunset. That was his life. Once a group of monks were traveling to Sarisha, probably from Calcutta. Suddenly the car broke down, and then the driver told them that it may take about 3 hours to repair the car and set it on wheels again. One of the occupants, a monk, quickly got down and he walked and simply vanished behind a cluster of trees that were a little ahead on the road. So after about 2.5 hours, they did the repair, and then they went searching for the monk who was missing. When all the others were excited about the delay and things like that, this Swami was calmly sitting under a tree and talking to people about religious life, completely oblivious of his own personal needs of hunger, thirst, etc. That was Ramakrishna Maharaj. So his life was like that. He was very extraordinary. I have seen him at very close quarters. He was totally unruffled under any circumstances. He himself used to tell a very beautiful incident about his life. He was a very quick learner. When he was posted to Srimat, probably he took over as a secretary from Revered Swami Gahananandaji Maharaj. Now, Srimat is located in one of the most crowded areas of the city, with slums on perhaps both sides and so on. So every day you see, even up to late in the night, tremendous quarrel by the slum dwellers who take to drinking, etc. etc. It used to be terrible fights, and it was unbearable noise. Many monks can't even get proper rest. So the first or second day, after a couple of days, it seems Ramakrishna Maharaj went and told Swami Gahananandaji Maharaj, he was living in the adjacent room. You see, the whole night the fight was going on, and it was impossible to sleep. They are shouting so much. It seems Gahananandaji simply asked him, is it so? I am here for more than 2 decades. I have never felt it. And that was the end of it. From that day onwards, till the last day of his life, Gahananandaji has never complained about the circumstances or the difficulties that he had to face with regard to his personal living, etc. You know, he had a very small room for himself in Srimat. He was always open. He was so sweet, compassionate. At the same time, he can be a very strict disciplinarian. You see, people used to now and then give some money, pranami to sadhus and all that. See, everything would be stuffed in a purse, and he would just leave it in his room. And he wouldn't even count. So one day it was found that a substantial, he had become very thin. That means someone had taken out a substantial portion of the money. He simply said, that's all. The entire staff working in the monks' quarters, they are responsible. The money has to be replaced within 24 hours, otherwise all of them would be suspended. Simply within a few hours, the entire money was replaced. So he had a very unique way of administration. He was very calm, composed, and he had tremendous respect for seniors. I have seen, even if someone is senior by a few days in the monastery, to him also he would bow down very reverentially. we had the opportunity to learn many things from him. Whatever be the provocation, whatever be the circumstances, he was always cool and calm. He was literally a sthita prajna, as described in the Gitas. He would never get upset. He would never. I have never seen him. I do not know what exactly was his inner state of mind, but I have never seen him giving way to shouting at somebody in anger and things like that. And you know, the amount of work he could take upon himself was unbelievable. He was a tireless worker. It seems he said to someone, work is the greatest form of spiritual practice, and serving others is the best form of worship one can perform. And I have been observing this all my life. It was literally true, because at one point of time, he came to Belur Math. By the time he was already secretary of the Seva. In 1979, he became one of the assistant secretaries. But he continued to hold the post of secretaryship of Seva. Actually, Seva itself is so big as to have maybe 3 or 4 secretaries. He was discharging the duty of maintaining that huge hospital center with a 550 multidisciplinary hospital with ever so many difficulties and problems. You know how difficult it is to run a hospital in Calcutta. Even for a very genuine reason, a person being brought in at a most critical condition, even if he passes even the normal condition, people become violent, they start breaking the glasses and furniture and things like that. It's very extremely difficult to control the general crowd that way. But he was discharging the duty of an assistant secretary, and along with that, every evening he would go from Belur Math to Seva Pratishthan, come back late at night, then have his bath, do his regular daily routine of evening japa, and then have food, and then start working. It used to be almost 1:32 when he goes to bed. Of course, all of us would become extremely tired. Personally, I didn't have to go to him on many occasions at night, but those who used to come from branch centers, but been called for various purposes, or those who used to work in the general section or the legal section of the headquarters, many times they used to feel extremely, because they had not travelled, they were there all the time, during the day they had sufficient rest in the afternoon. In spite of that, they would become tired in no time. But Maharaj, after that morning, entire morning devoted to administrative work, food, a little rest, and then they travel, going to Seva Pratishthan and coming back, that itself is a very arduous and very demanding task. After doing that, and day after day, he would come back and then do his entire routine of taking bath and then doing japa, food, and then sit for work. So that was amazing, the amount of energy that he had. That was possible because his was a life totally dedicated to the Sangha. Ramakrishna Sangha Prana was his nature, was totally dedicated to the Sangha. Anything for the sake of Sangha, he would do anything, he will give up his own life. That was his dedication. That is all of us can imbibe from his life, and if we can even practice a little of it in our lives, all of us become blessed. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.